So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into it. I am absolutely loving this French braid cornrow wig that I made a couple days ago. I'll have it linked below. But we're going to start off by adding a shower cap to your head to protect your natural hair. I was going to do 2 layers of wig caps in brown nude. I thought this would be the best look. But as you can see, it keeps sliding back. And I'm just like, no, it's going to slide back when I make this wig. It's not going to be good. So I went ahead and transferred or switched to a dome cap. This one you can pick up at Sally's. I buy these in bulk on Amazon and I'll have them linked down below. I also added a little bit of my Pump It Up Spritz. This is really good because it's going to stick to the cap once it dries and help to adhere the glue and the tracks and all that stuff to your head. So we're featuring some hair from Today Only. This is their body wave hair. I have 3 bundles of frontal. It came with a brochure, it came with a wig cap, and it also came with some really nice lashes. They sent over a 4x4 lace closure. I did not bleach the knots, but you're going to see it's going to still look flawless. And boom, I have a fresh bottle of the glue that I'm going to be using, and I forgot to take the little piece out in the middle. It's like a little, I don't know if it's plastic or foil, but it keeps the glue fresh. I forgot to take it off, so when you squeeze it, it kind of busted open. So normally when doing a quick weave wig, I would always sew the closure down just to make sure that it never comes up. This is my first time actually trying to glue it down, and it actually worked out just fine. You just want to make sure that you put a nice thick layer of the glue onto the band or the ribbon that goes around the closure. You kind of want to make sure that you have enough on there that it's going to stick, but you don't want it to be like messy and spill over. So kind of try to find that balance. You can use a blow dryer to help seal this down to the cap. I didn't want to do that this time around, so I just went ahead and kind of blew it and air dried it to make sure it was tacky a little bit. And then I aligned it exactly to the front of the cap. And I just hold it down and kind of just press it in and just take my time. Now I did let this sit for maybe about 5 minutes before I moved it, just because this is the most crucial part. The closure is what like holds the whole wig together. So I just really wanted to make sure it was together, and it is at this point. Again, use a blow dryer to help seal it down, and we are good to go. If you want to do this step and like add the glue, you can do it and then later go back in and like sew it down if you just really want to be sure that it is good. Now I'm going to take my first bundle. This is 22 inches. One way that I judge hair is when I unravel the bundle. If it like tangles up, then I kind of have a clue that this is going to be some hair that is not going to be the best. And these bundles unraveled perfectly, so I know it's going to be some really good hair. I do have this hair linked down below. Again, it is from the company Today Only, and all the information is in the description bar. But you just go ahead and measure your first piece, and then you just like hold it and kind of just pour the glue on. I like to lay the track on a flat surface to apply the glue and kind of let it sit there for a minute. But I kind of just wanted to show you in the frame a few times me actually applying the glue so you can see what you do. You want to fill up each track, or like the weft part of the track, to make sure that there's enough glue, but you don't want to like glob it on there to where it's going to spill over and get messy. This is not going to be perfect, and it's not going to be free of mess, but you don't want to make it too messy. Like making it like way too much glue is not going to make it stick even more, if that makes any sense. So this time around I tried to add a little bit of that Pump It Up spray to the track. That definitely wasn't necessary, but it is great to try different techniques throughout, you know, the process to see what works best for you. And I'm going to hold it in place. I hold each end down and kind of secure that, and while I hold the ends down, I kind of go around and press the rest of it in. After this is like the time basically when you would go ahead and blow dry if you wanted to blow dry. But I'm going to continue the process of adding my tracks. Now my hair is braided in French braids going straight back. The way the beautician did it, she kind of like made it a little bit bulky in the back, which I did not like, but we're going to roll with it, and you're going to see in the end that the wig is still going to come out super duper flat. Now keep in mind, you want to make sure that you do the tracks close enough that you know you don't see through the wig, but still space them far enough apart that you will not run out of hair. And as you can see, my work is pretty clean. It's coming together very well. This cap ended up working very amazing. I did not need an elastic band in the end, and the wig fit amazing, just an FYI. But I always recommend adding an elastic band even when the wig fits perfect, because you know, if you out when you're going to a party, you get thrown in a pool, just a wig an elastic band will always help you to kind of keep the wig in place just a little bit better in case it does slide back, or you know, you want to lift it up into a ponytail or a bun. It's always going to just lay perfectly. And here you seen it kind of was sliding a little bit because I let it go, so I did add a little bit of glue. Don't be shy to add more glue if and when needed. So the best way to explain how you want to treat these tracks and the glue when applying is pretty much you want to use the same technique you would use when you put on falsies. Whenever you put on your false eyelashes, you add the glue to the band of the eyelash. You kind of hold it in place. Sometimes you kind of blow it and let it dry and get tacky before you put it on your eye. And if you do it, or if you apply it as soon as you put the glue, it's going to slip and move around and it's not going to stay. But if you wait a good 10 to 15 seconds, it's going to be tacky enough to apply. And even when you apply it at that 10 to 15 seconds, it still will move. But once you hold it in place and it dries completely, it won't move. Like if you try to take that lash off after it's completely dry, you're going to pull out actual lashes. So that's pretty much the same exact technique or analogy you would use for this. When the glue is wet on the weft and you apply it, it's going to move. If you wait till it's a little bit tacky, it'll stay in place, but it still will kind of move a little bit. But once it's completely dry, it is going to be stuck and bonded on this cap very, very, very well. You just want to make sure that you press the track in and the glue in all the way around so there's no pieces that are not really adhered properly. And then once it's dry, it's good. So it takes maybe about, I say because I did not sew the closure down, I actually glued it down. I would say this process will take you maybe about 45 minutes to an hour. If you are a pro, it's going to take you 20-30 minutes max. And again, it's just based on trial and error and just getting really good at it. Once you lay the first few tracks down, you kind of get the hang of it and you get into like a groove and you're going and going and going and going. So as long as you have some music on or your Netflix and chilling it where you have a good movie going, as I do right now, I'm like staring at a movie, I look like a zombie. But once you get into a groove and you're like watching TV or something to keep you, you know, entertained, it can get done super duper fast. Now we're almost at the top. One thing I will always recommend is that you check your work. You check your work by basically going into like your bathroom, and you can hold up like a handheld mirror or like a large like college dorm mirror or something like that, like behind the mirror, so that way when you're looking in the bathroom mirror, you can basically look behind you. You guys know what I'm trying to say. You basically want to find a way to look in the mirror at your hair and kind of see and make sure that there are no like you can't see the scalp through or the cap through the hair. And that's kind of what we're going to check right now. I did off camera have to go in and use that last piece to add 2 more tracks in, because there were a few pieces that, as you can see, it was not, I didn't space them close enough together, and that's the only downside to doing a wig on your head. You can't see, you're just feeling. Also, once it was done, I did go ahead and start to comb the hair out. I decided to stop combing the hair out and just take the wig off and kind of remove everything and allow the, how am I trying to say? Allow the glue to continue to dry. That way I wouldn't pull any tracks, because again, you want to make sure the tracks are completely dry. So I went ahead and cut out that excess cap beneath where the closure lays. And I'm going to show you here how flat this sucker lays. You guys can see like how that closure just lays. I'm going to add a little bit of mousse, or a lot actually, and this is just going to just mold the hair how I want it to look. It's going to give the hair a nice salon quality shine. It's going to get away with like the flyaways and the baby hair and all that, and just tame everything together. Now this little piece right here, I did get a little bit of glue on it, so rather than trying to remove the glue, I'm just going to cut that piece of hair out. And that's what you will find when you're using this kind of glue. Sometimes it's easier just to cut the piece out than it is to try to remove the glue. But if you have obviously glue in like a large piece of the hair, you definitely don't want to just cut out a huge piece of your hair. I'm going to use my duck belt clips to go ahead and hold the hair back while I get the excess lace off. Now you guys can almost see how amazing this wig lays. Again, I did not need to add an elastic band, but I definitely want to add some baby hair and kind of make this wig look more like a frontal opposed to a closure. So I'm going to take out a generous amount of baby hair, hold the hair back so that way it's not in the way, and kind of just pulling, like using the pull method to pull a little bit of that baby hair out that I made, just so that it's not too thick and bulky. We're going to use the Got2b Glued. I am using a generous amount because when I don't have makeup on, I usually use a lot to make sure that I can mold the hair exactly how I want it to go. I kind of let that dry and get a little bit tacky, a little bit dry as well. And that's the easiest way to go ahead and make your baby hair without it like moving around too much. And it basically will form the baby hair exactly how you want. Just go ahead and let the baby hair or the glue, the gel glue, dry a little bit before you go ahead and start doing your little swoops. And as you can see, this looks amazing. Another step you can do is bleach the knots. Also, you can tweeze between the baby hair and where the actual hair starts, so it looks a little bit more realistic and like a hairline. I did not do that here, but that definitely is two different ways to make it look even more flawless than it does in this video. Also added a little bit of powder to the parting. Feel free to add a foundation powder, a liquid concealer. You can use an eyeshadow, whatever you find that works amazing with your skin tone. Apply a generous amount and use your fingers to kind of blend it out. And we're pretty much done. I used my Blast Freezing Spray from Got2b Glued and a little bit of more foam lotion just to be able to go ahead and set the hair and get it ready to be slayed. Now off camera I did go ahead and co-wash the hair, and I added a little bit of my Sebastian's Wet to the end. So this is what the ends of the hair look like in their natural state. I have not washed or co-washed them at this point. I'm going to go ahead off camera and style the ends and add my